I know it's kind of been a while since I've shown myself, and I definitely had this video planned for Jet Set Radio's anniversary because, I knew that Jet Set Radio was going to have its anniversary and it's going to be turning 24, because, Jet Set Radio guy dropping the Jet Set Radio video on the Jet Set Radio birthday. That kind of thing. Also, you like my shirt, panty stocking, X Jet Set Radio, this gum and this view, kind of cool, right? Anyways, I know why you're here. I know what you want to hear me talk about, and what a crazy day, right? I was just expecting June 24th just to be a normal day, I just go to work, get through the day, sleep, all of that stuff. But clearly, someone else had other plans. So we gotta talk about what happened with Jet Set Radio.
There was so much to unpack and infer about what we've seen. A very special thank you to Undad for helping me with the detective work on what the leaks have shown and what we can take away from them. So I want to first start off with the four images that were first surfacing around. These images I first saw from this account on Twitter by MSKaze69. The tweet says, a remake of the original Jet Set Radio is in the works at Sega. It is a full remake of the Dreamcast game and it is not related to the free-to-play reboot. And they added, these are screenshots from a development version of the game. Now, this all lines up from the leak Midori, before they got revealed to be a whole person, about Jet Set Radio having a remake to go along with the reboot that was going to be the free-to-play game that was mentioned long ago when the Super games were first being talked about. What we are seeing right now is the remake, which calling this a remake is a bit of a stretch where we see the footage of the game, but we'll get to that point later in the video. These screenshots of Beat gives us a glimpse of a lot of the UI. I just want to mention how much I really love Beat's design in this game. I think it's a great evolution of his look. So in these screenshots we have the UI for the spray cans. We have two types of spray cans here. The regular small spray can and a spray can with a heart on it. This could potentially be our house spray cans and we actually get to store them, which hasn't been done before, so that's interesting. We have a mini map on the top left, and below it we see a graffiti counter of how much required graffiti is left in the level. On the top right we see a tally for the graffiti souls and another item that I haven't been able to make out just yet. In this screenshot here with Beat wall riding, we get a view of the Trick Points UI and we also get to see a look at the spray cans and our first look at the Rokkaku police. They're facing the wall and it looks like they got a jetpack on. On the bottom right, we got some debug menu stuff here for the Rokkaku police that shows infight, shooting, and gadget. There's a lot more to get into about how the Rokkaku police could play out in this game when we actually watch the footage later. In this screenshot here, we get a small glimpse of the map, and from this alone, it looks huge. Very reminiscent of how GTA have their maps in the pause menu. We got a couple of things in here too. On the left we have the graffiti soul counter, a graffiti count, that yellow circle that looks like a marker or something, I can't really tell for sure, and something called total followers. This is something that has been leaked as well about the GGs building up their reputation and followers, almost like how Bomb Rush Cyberpunk has the rep system, but it's a different collectible altogether here. It shows your total followers, it's going to have different levels, and it has GG clout on the bottom. It's not really important, but I just found that pretty interesting. Bottom right shows different markers on the map. We're not quite sure what the letter ones may be, but there's a marker for graffiti and another one with an exclamation mark. That would probably be for advancing the story events. At the top, we got a few options. The world map, which is what we're seeing now. SNS, which I assume we're gonna be getting messages throughout the game, like how BRC characters send messages. Team up, not sure what that's going to entail exactly. The settings, of course. The most important one here, though, is a shop. This is something I actually said I would love to see when I detail my wants for Jet Set Radio 3 in this video here. You can check out after finishing this one. We don't know what this shot will have, but if my intuition is correct, we should be able to buy things like graffiti, costumes, and different colors for skins, which means there has to be some sort of in-game currency that we can collect throughout the open world. So that's cool. That covers everything in these screenshots here, but now we get to the main event, which is the footage that dropped along with these screenshots. It's only 32 seconds, but there is a lot to take in for the couple of seconds we have, from gameplay mechanics, the world we'll be playing in, and of course, the GGs. The first thing we see is a shot of our main trio, Beat, Gum, Combo, all of their new designs. Now, we have seen their designs, we know what they look like already, but this is the most clear that we actually get to see them, even though Gum and Combo are in the background. There's another image I'll show later that has renders of these three characters, and can I just say I love this shot so much? Beat being freaky with his tongue out. Now, that sounds crazy in hindsight saying that, but seeing these characters be expressive have been something I've been wanting for years. Before, they look like this, and this, and this, and this. So seeing Freaky Beat is a win for me. Another interesting thing is that they actually don't have their skates on in this shot. Undead speculated that potentially we might have other move styles like BRC does, and the leak did mention that there were going to be rival gangs who use other gears. There's going to be something else in the footage that kind of supports that idea, but we will get to that later. We get our first look at Beat's victory animation. It's very brief, not super dynamic. That would probably change or get touched up on in the future. Besides that, we have some new UI stuff. On the top right, we have the combo system back again. You see it also when Beat is grinding. It seems to have gone through quite a bit of an interesting change. The thumbs up seems to be the multiplier. Then we also have a total score that they show. No clear idea how it exactly works yet, but I imagine it's going to be like the other Jet Set Radio games. On the bottom left, this is what Undead noticed. That's the D-pad, and each D-pad has an assigned symbol on it. Down being the health spray can, and the left and right D-pad appears to have logos for Combo and Gum. The logos themselves look very similar to their OG logos. Could there potentially be instant character switching? That would save up a lot of backtracking if so. There is a blue line under the logos too. Are they tied to potential resources? We're not exactly sure yet. Bottom right UI is the one you really want to pay close attention to. We got this blue meter that has a threshold that goes up to 1000. Not exactly sure what mechanic that's tied to just yet. We have our graffiti cans. Below that though is where it gets interesting. We see what appears to be a weapon of some kind with its own gauge beside it. How can you tell it's a weapon? Well, it's tied to the right trigger, which for a lot of FPS games and third-person games with shooting elements, that's usually what the button is used for. We also have this little item here tied to the L1 button. What's that usually tied to in FPS games? Grenades. I think we got our first look at weapons being implemented in the game. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the leak about Jet Set Radio 3 when the game was first announced. There was a mention that the free-to-play game was going to have weapons of some kind. We got our first showing of the weapons here in the remake. Now, we never get to see it in action, but this remake seems to be the testing ground for what they may do for the free-to-play game in the future. Remember when I said we get back to the Rokkaku police? What if this is going to be one of our methods to deal with them? Actually lean more into the GTA aspect of dealing with the police and fighting back. We can probably still do it the traditional way of spraying them up close, but now we also have a long range option. Who knows, we will just have to wait and see. We get a brief showcase of Beat grinding and jumping off a rail. He then does an extra air trick like in Future, but a thing to note here is that he got an extra jump off of that. That's a change I can get behind. Getting extra height off of the air trick, helps a lot on the platforming side of things. Undead points out here in this shot with DJK where he's on his turntable, he has a Thrasher sticker on there. Maybe there might be a collaboration with them? It also goes into the idea that maybe there are other move styles like skateboards if Thrashers is being shown here. We get a shot of Beat skating through the open world and we see him grinding here. He looks like he's currently in a race of some kind. There's a marker showing the next checkpoint he has to hit. This is normal for open world games like this. To back up a little bit on this shot, you can see there's an objective on the top right. Now, unfortunately, I can't read Japanese, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. However, I have a screenshot here with this apparent translation. The objective says, meet up with Korn in front of the UDZ. If that is the true translation, then we got confirmation that Korn is going to be in the game. I'm not surprised he's returning, it seemed pretty obvious that he was coming back. The next shots here have Beat spraying graffiti and we get an idea of how the graffiti system will work. The small graffitis are going to be quick and instant like how it is in the past two games, and the larger graffiti goes through a huge change. It's not a control stick minigame or you have to spray the marks individually, you just simply hold down the square button to spray it. I know some people are going to be disappointed with this since the graffiti minigame from the original game is really loved, and a game like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk managed to find a good middle ground between the original game and future. Personally, I'm honestly not bothered by it because I'm fine with either graffiti mechanic in the context of the games they were in. Also, this is probably just a placeholder graffiti, but when Beat sprays the graffiti on the walls here, the graffiti says Bis, which is Mew's Japanese name. I'm not saying it's 100% confirming that she's going to be in this game, but also Q's graffiti is also being used as a placeholder here in this screenshot. But hey, it's possible that Mew and Cube could be in the game, which is great. While getting a small view of the city, we see an advertisement referencing the Dreamcast, which is awesome. We also got new footage of DJK, and I'm going to just say it, this is the best this character has ever looked, and I love him dearly. We also get a shot here of Beat doing some parkour. Now, we knew there was going to be some sort of parkour element when we saw the Power Surge trailer. It looks like a scripted event, but I think it looks cool to see it. Hopefully they'll brush up on the animations for it. We get a look at the open world, and oh my lord, look at this place. It is huge. I cannot wait to be able to explore this world. It has me curious on what the other regions could potentially look like. If those are going to be just as huge as Shibuya, oh man, this is going to be insane. But we're not finished yet. We have some panel slides here to show. I'm excited to talk about this slide as the resident lore nerd for Just Set Radio, the world setting. We get our first taste of what the game's world is going to be like. Now we're in the world of Tokyo Island, and the Rudies are battling each other in the streets for possession of the Black Book, which was left by a legendary team. You see on the right here, we get some details on the Black Book, left behind by a team that dominated the streets. There are also rumors that the person who collects all the pages in the Black Book gets their wishes granted. To add to this, my good friend Rad, shout out to them, let me know about the cultural significance of the Black Book in graffiti culture. The Black Book is a graffiti artist's sketchbook, also known as a piece book. It is often used to sketch out and plan the potential graffiti and to collect tags from other writers. It is a writer's most valuable property, containing all or majority of the person's sketches and pieces. And oh man, I really love the implications of that. To continue, the two team of Rudies of Den and Charles Street, the Noise Tank and the GGs were in a contentious situation. We get our first look at the Noise Tank here. They actually look like a mixture of the OG and future look. Their heads have Soundwave TVs now on their faces. They're leaning more into the cyborg aspect of them, like how Future did. I'm a fan of the redesign, honestly, and it's interesting that they'll actually be the first gang we have to deal with, since usually it's like Poison Jam, you know? To continue this passage, in the midst of the situation, they were given a message. The message comes from a character named Suwabe, one of the holders of the Black Book. So we got a confirmation of a new character here. Koya Rakaku stole the Black Book. This news meant that the large corporation, Rakaku Real Estate, was a new enemy for B and his allies. So, massive change here already. Goji is not our antagonist this time. We have Koya Rakaku, a well-dressed young man, a new member of the Rakaku family. I wonder if Goji is still going to be in the game. Probably, right? But I think it's cool to have a younger antagonist to combat the Rudies. It makes me wonder why he would want the Black Book. Probably to also have his wish granted? I want to move over to this section of the GGs. We get new renders of Beat, Gum, and Combo. They all looking good. Gum looks darn sexy in the crop top, and they brought back the face tattoo, I noticed. Combo's fit I've really grown to like, and I'm happy to see him part of the main trio. He's probably going to be the muscle of the group. He went from being a mid-game unlockable to an early game unlockable to now being part of the main trio. My boy ranked up in roles. And the section here says the new team of Rudies that is hot on the block. The team consists of the leader, Beat, along with other Ascension members such as Gum, Combo, Yo-Yo, so we got confirmation on him, and Tab. Looks like we're doing the whole region name thing again. So far, we have confirmation of 5, potentially 7 if we assume Mew and Cube are going to be in there, members of the GG. Still a few more missing. I am excited for what the story may offer. You're probably thinking, why are you getting so excited about this? Jet Set Radio does not need a story. And to that I say, you're wrong. The most interesting thing about Future for me was how these characters felt about the situation. I also love how in Bomber Cyberpunk, it had a big focus on its story and characters. It helps the world feel more fleshed out, even if it's not super deep. What I do hope is that we finally get some voice acting for these characters and have them speak full dialogues. Please. The last things left to speak of are 2 slides. This slide is about the roadmap, and this is the talk about the free-to-play stuff. It says, raise awareness with Remake and expand into the free-to-play market with an accessible action game. They mention how players in today's gaming market also enjoy free-to-play games. I'm not really one of them. Showing a lot of the big free-to-play online games out there right now. You know, GTA Online, League, Valorant, Fortnite, Dota, Destiny 2. These are not really games I kind of like. Not even GTA Online, I prefer GTA single-player stuff only. There are many gamers from Generation Z and gamers who enjoy games in various ways. I am within the Gen Z range as I was born in 1999 and I'm 25 now. I do like being able to play games in a variety of ways, but free-to-play games aren't just for me. They want to use the Jet Set Radio remake to hopefully expand it into the free-to-play market. Kind of like how GTA 5 goes into GTA Online, you know, that type of thing, I would imagine. I know everyone's not really huge on the whole free-to-play kind of deal. We just want a normal Jet Set Radio, and we are at least getting that through the remake. They just hope to expand Jet Set Radio more by having this free-to-play game to go alongside with it. Do we particularly want a free-to-play Jet Set Radio? No. If the remake turns out to be really good, am I more likely to give the free-to-play a try? Maybe, but it depends on the remake turning out really good. To end off this analysis, we have a schedule. The top blue one is the remake, and the bottom green one, I assume, is the free-to-play game. The prototype development took place way back in 2021. That is insane to think about, honestly. The alpha preparation and game testing was during the latter half of 2023, and right when the Power Surge announcement happened at the Game Awards. We are in 2024 now, so we are in the alpha development phase for the game for the rest of the year, it seems. Then we hit 2025, and it will be in its beta stages. Then by 2026, we got a potential release window for January when things will be finalized. So we kind of have something to potentially look forward to in the future. 2026 is when we could see the remake. Now just to add on to this, I got one more screenshot here showing the differences in builds by Neptune GX here. The left side showing the game in 2023 apparently, and then we have the old dev build, which is probably from the prototype phase and back when the first initial pictures from the leak came from, if you remember. They added a lot, as you can see from this picture, and the footage we saw was probably from that prototype phase. And with that, that concludes all the details, secrets, and information about the new Jet Set Radio. It is still insane to me that this all happened and we got as much information as we did. My overall thoughts are what I saw has me very intrigued about the final products, and I so far like the ideas being shown. I hope Sega takes all the time they need to polish the rest of the game and it can turn out to be the best game it could possibly be. I do like what I'm seeing, and I hope we can get more official news about the Jet Set Radio remake as we approach more gaming events throughout the year. We'll likely hear more about it when we reach 2025, so we just gotta be more patient. I mean, we've been patient for 22 years for a new game, so patience is all we got at this point. I want to give a shout out to Undad once again for helping me point out a lot of details stated in this video. They've been a big help in the discoveries and inquiries we could make about the game, so thank you to them. Let me know your thoughts on all the Jet Set Radio stuff you've seen in the comments. If you enjoy my stuff, you can like the video and share it to help boost my content. It helps a lot. You could also subscribe if you want to see more of what I do here on the channel, and I'll definitely be talking about more Jet Set Radio stuff if we have another big breakthrough in news or announcement. Thank you all for watching and have a great day.